Hello everybody, today I will be teaching you about loops and how to use them. First up is the while loop. The while loop repeats code while condition remains true. This simply means that if the condition is true, it will keep running that same block of code an infinite number of times as long as the condition is true. Let's start by making a simple program that asks us for our name. And then by the end of this code, we will type in hello and our name. So once we run this, the program outputs type in your name, and if we do this as normal, my name is Juan, the program will execute hello Juan. But what if the user inputs nothing? Of course, the program will also output nothing, and we want to avoid that. So a way to avoid that is by writing the while loop. We will be writing while parentheses, open and close parentheses, and then name is equals to blank, and then our curly braces. We will be inputting this again, and we don't need to declare this a second time because we already have over here. So once we run this, it should keep asking us for our name until we finally write it, hello Juan. If we don't have anything to exit out of the while loop, that is called an infinite loop. And how that looks like is this. This is called an infinite loop, and once we run this, it should output do we need to remove this? Oh, we need to remove this. It seems to not want to run. Oh, sorry, it's still over here. Now let's run it again. Control F5. There we go. This will go on for an infinite number of times, and that is called an infinite loop. That is for while loop. The next we will be discussing about loops is the do while loop. The do while loop executes the line of code at least once before it checks for a condition. Let's make a simple program that counts from 0 until 10. So we will first be declaring our I to be equals to 0, and then writing our do statement. We want to write our I, so we do that by writing the console write line and then incrementing it by 1 each time it goes through the loop. And then after that, we will write our while statement. I is less than 10. To explain this code, it just means that it will keep going through the loop as long as our I is still less than 10. So once we run this, we should see 0 to 9. It only counted until 9 because that's what we told it to do. If we want it to count until 10, you can put an equal sign here, and that will make it I is less than or equals to 10, and it will keep going through the loop until it reaches 10. You can even make it start by 1 and removing 0, so 1 until 10, or you can even reverse this and decrement by 1. So instead of going 1 to 10, it goes 10 to 1. What I mean by the word execute, I mean by the meaning executes the line of code at least once is before it checks for a condition, it will run this block of code at least once. So if we put anything here like 0, it still outputs that code. Even if you just write nothing here, false, false, it still types in the value of I because that's what we told it to do. And that is the end of our do while loop. Hello everybody, what we will be discussing next is the for loop. And what a for loop is it repeats some code a finite amount of times. Let's make a simple program that counts up from 0 to 10. In order to do that, we will be typing the for statement and parentheses, and then inside the parentheses, we first declare int I equals to be 0, and then a semicolon. What we will be typing next is its condition, so I is less than 10, and then a semicolon, and then I plus plus. But since we want it to count until 10, we will be putting in the equal sign here, and then the curly brace console write line I. So what we will see is a count up from 0 to 10. In order to count down from 10 to 1, we will put in minus signs to decrement it, and then we will put 0 here, and then reverse this, and 10 here. So once we type this, it should count down from 10 to 1. Let's add something additional here. So once we exit out of this for loop, I want it to say hello. So console write line, and then let it output hello. So once we run this code by pressing Ctrl F5, we will see a countdown from 10 to 1, and then it will output hello. There we go. And that is for loop, everybody. Hello everybody, what we will be discussing next about loops is the for each loop. A for each loop is a simpler way to iterate over an array, but it's less flexible. A way to demonstrate this would be here. This is our array, and this is, once we run this code, we should see the output Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday in order. There we go. We can even make this start from Wednesday until Monday. That is what I mean when it's less flexible. But still, I'll teach you how to use the for each statement. First, let's put this as a comment by control and then forward slash for each, and then our parentheses. Inside here, we will be typing our statement or our condition, which is string day in days. And then what we want to do is, I didn't mean to make this into a comment. Once we run this, we should see the output Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. There we go. The way it's less flexible than a for loop is, using a for loop you can iterate by, let's remove this as a comment. Using a for loop you can iterate by 1, 2, 3, however you like, but in a for each loop it just iterates over an array. That everybody is a for each loop.